Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. Today we'll continue our lab, the Red Alert lab. This is the video number 12. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have installed the WSOS, which is an abbreviation of Windows Server Update Services. This is a service that you can install on a Windows server that will or the main function of this service is to download the updates from the Microsoft website and distribute it to all your workstations and servers. And this is a very good service because it saves a lot of bandwidth and a lot of hard disk space on the workstations and the application server, for example. So we have installed the WSOS and we have done this remotely using the Windows Server Manager console. Okay, and you had configured a lot of options in this WSOS, initial configuration and some options. All of this we have done in the previous video, and I have discussed in details each option in the WSOS and what does it do. And we have also configured a group policy to inform the workstations and the servers that there is a server that they should communicate with to get their operating system updates and the Microsoft products updates. Okay, if you don't have a WSOS, normally your workstation or server will go directly to the Microsoft website and download the updates for its operating system and Microsoft products by itself. So we have said that the WSOS is better, so you can manage all of your operating system updates and Microsoft products updates using the WSOS. This will save a lot of time and a lot of bandwidth and a lot of space. So anyway, after doing installing the WSOS and explaining all of its different options, and we have configured the group policy to inform the workstations and the servers by the name of the WSOS server and how they can communicate with the WSOS to get their updates. We have done this. Then we have created a new virtual machine and we have joined it to the domain, and we begin testing all of the different configuration we have done in the lab so far. So we have done a lot of configuration. We have a file server is up and running, and we have a lot of shared folders on this file server, and they should be mapped according to a group policy. And we have configured the DHCP, so we will test if our new VM or virtual machine will take an IP from the DHCP, and we should also test the WSOS to see if this virtual machine that have joined the domain will get its update from the WSOS. And we have also configured the Active Directory login script in the beginning of the lab. This script will do a lot of things. Okay, so we need to test all of these settings that we have done in all of the previous videos. We will test it on a new virtual machine that have joined in the domain. One of the things also, we will test the Active Directory home folders. So basically this new virtual machine, we are working with it as a test to test all what we have done in the previous videos. Okay, so this is so far that we have done in the previous video. In this video we need to we need to secure our network or our domain. Okay, so we have done all of the necessary configuration to have a domain up and running and to have a network up and running. We have done all of the necessary services in any company it should work with. For example, we have a file server, we have a DHCP, so all of this you should see it in any multinational environment or any environment that work or have a domain. Okay, so we need to secure this domain. Okay, and we need to have a lot of security measures to secure our environment. One of the things that we have done in this lab, that we have configured Windows Server Data Center Core because it's more secure. Okay, because it has less attack, or hackers cannot attack this kind of system. And we have also configured something called PAW, or Privileged Access Workstation. This is a kind of workstation that had joined the domain, and we have Windows 10 on it, and we have configured it in a special way that it can connect to the server in a secure way, and it is against hackers or against hacking. Okay, and in the upcoming videos we will work on or we will have different things added to this PAW or this workstation. We will have other configurations to do to this workstation to make it more secure. So this is two things we have done to secure our environment. We have Windows Server the Center Core installed. We have a PAW or a workstation to connect to this server securely and remotely, of course. So in this lab we need to secure the domain as a whole or the Active Directory as a whole. So there is a lot of PDFs or a lot of documents discussing how to secure your Active Directory and to secure your domain. So one of these PDFs I have found one of my colleagues in the LinkedIn, or one of let's say one of my friends in LinkedIn have something called, or have a PDF, and he have published it, something called Meditate Credential Theft with Admin Tier Model. So what is this? This is a kind of design of the Active Directory that will help you to meditate or to prevent your credential theft. What we mean by credential theft, we all know, for example, that there is an account called domain admin, or there is a group called domain admin. Any member of this group should have full control over the Active Directory and the domain. So what if this user in this group, his password and username was hacked, and the hacker knows this? He will have full control over the domain. So we need to prevent this. So to prevent this, we will do something called admin, or will implement, or we will structure our Active Directory according to something called administrative tier model. This is something discussed by Microsoft. Okay, so what we will do, or what this administrative tier model tells us. First of all, I need to show you all something like a graph that will simplify what I am talking about. Here we will go to the slideshow, and then we will begin from the beginning. So this is my laptop, and this is the name of the laptop and the IP address. Okay, 192.168.1.2, and then we have our hypervisor, or the program that we create in it, the virtual machines and our virtual networks. This is Hyper-V or VMware, sorry, not Hyper-V, VMware Pro 16. Okay, this is the program, and then in it we have our virtual environment. This virtual environment that is attached to the program, or it is that this is the environment that this program creates, and in this virtual environment we will create different virtual machines. And here, this is the domain. We have a domain called redalert.internal, and then we have two servers. Okay, and we have a couple of workstations. We have about, maybe until now we have created about 2 workstations, and later we will create 3. Anyway, these servers have Windows Server Data Center Core installed on them. So this is to make it more secure, and we will have on these workstations something like one of them will be Windows 11 to test this new operating system, and the other will be Windows 10. Some of them will be Windows 10 LTSC 2019, and this is a special edition of the Windows 10 Enterprise system, and we have discussed what is the benefits of this system. And we will have Windows 10 20H2 installed on these workstations. Okay, all of this to test the environment, or to test our domain or our different group policies on different operating systems. So now all of these domain and these workstations and these servers are attached, or they are in a network, or in a virtual network of 192.168.1.0. So this is the network range we are talking about. So here my laptop is 192.168.1.2, so this laptop is in the same network, so I can communicate with these virtual machines from my laptop. So I can share something from my laptop to my virtual machines, because I am on the same network. So now this is it. Let's this is my first domain controller, and we have on it installed the Active Directory, DNS, group policy management, and this is the IP 192.168.1.8. so this is the primary domain controller. The name is RACC01. this is our primary domain controller, and we have our additional domain controller RACC02, and it's not only an additional domain controller, but we have WSOS installed on it, we have file server installed on it, we have DNS, secondary DNS. so all of these are on the additional domain controller, and we have said that a best practice is not to install anything beside the domain controller. So you have only a server, you can install on it domain controller or make it a domain controller, and that's it. If you need to install any additional roles, you can do it on separate servers. Okay, so this is one of the things, but here because I am working on a limited hardware, so I have done, or I have put all of these roles on one server. Okay, and also in production you don't have a lot of servers, so you can install more roles on beside the domain controller, but the only condition I recommend is to have your primary domain controller installed without anything beside it. So you will have your primary domain controller. If you are in a production environment, you have your primary domain controller installed, do not install anything on it, and then you have your additional domain controller. You can install on it file server, WSOS, and other roles if you don't have any additional servers or additional hardware. So this is acceptable in a production environment. Okay, anyway, so this is so far what we have in our lab. Okay, so how we can secure this domain, how can we secure the servers, how we can secure the workstations. Okay, we will do a couple of configuration and a couple of steps to secure our environment. So let me show you all another thing. This is the Active Directory domain structure. So we have, let me show you all, we have, this is our domain redalert.internal, and then we have, this is the global IT group, or this is the IT group that manage all of the IT personnel in all of the three armies. So we have the Russian army, we have the Ally army, we have the Japanese army. All of these armies have their own IT, and the global IT group, it is the one responsible to manage all of these ITs. Okay, so we have the global IT group, and this is the main OU armies that will have different or sub OUs for armies to be created under it. And then we have the global servers. So this also it contains the domain controller. So this is the global servers, or this is the servers that all of the three armies will communicate with. This is, for example, the domain controller and the additional domain controller. So all of this will be put in this group or in this OU. And then we have all military group. This is our security groups, that in it we will combine, or we will put all of the other armies in this organization. What I mean by this, for example, if you need to have a group to have all, or if you need to have a group that all of the armies are a member of it, so we will put it here. Why we need a group to have all of the armies in one group? So we have, if we need to have a group policy to be applied to all of the armies, we can use this organization unit and the groups in it. Okay, for example, we will have a group that contain all of the Ally army, we will have a group that will contain all of the Japanese army, we will have a group that will contain the Russian army, and we will have a group that will contain them all. Okay, so I have discussed this in previous videos. So this is the main OUs. Okay, that under it we will create different things. Just a minute, guys. So let's continue, guys. Here we will have this again. As I said before, we have the domain. Okay, and we have these organizational units. Okay, so this is it, and then we will have the sub-organizational units. Here we'll have, this is the Russian army, and this is the Ally army, and this is the Japanese army. This is its organizational unit, and then this is the Ally organizational unit, and this is the Japanese army organizational unit, and then we will have sub-organization unit from it. This is the military groups OU. This will contain all of the security groups of the Russian army, and this will contain the servers of the Russian army. This will contain the command center of the Russian army, and this is the IT group. Here we will have our IT group reside. So all of the IT group or all of the IT personnel of the Russian army will be in this organizational unit, and this is the army camp. This is the users for the Russian army. They will be in this organizational unit. And as for the air base and armor facility and seaport and defenses, all of these are the computers of the Russian army. So this is the servers, and the 4 organizational unit will contain the computers in the Russian army. And the same will apply for the ally army, the same structure, and the same will apply for the Japanese army. Okay, what we will do to secure our domain or to secure our network, we will add a couple or an additional.
شفت الناس مدياني كام؟
ثانية واحدة. So let's continue, guys. Sorry for the interruption. So now we have all of until now we have all of the structure appearing. Okay, this is the one. And then to secure this network or to secure this Active Directory, we all know that if we need to communicate with the domain controller, we communicate with it through PAW or the Privileged Access Workstation. So what we will do, we have created a PAW workstation and we are working with it. Okay, until now we will add in every army, we will add an organizational unit, PAW and PAW1 and PAW2. These are 3 workstations these are 3 privileged access workstations the Russian army will use to connect to our domain controller securely. This is it. This is one of the first steps to secure our environment, to work or to connect to the domain controller to do the normal IT process, for example like creating users or groups or computers. This will be done using privileged access workstation and this will be done in every army. Okay, so we'll have these 3 organization units that contain computers that are securely or highly secured to connect to our domain controller. Okay, so we'll do this for every army. This is it. And what we will do here is the global IT group. Okay, or this is the main IT group. Okay, and every army will have his own IT group. Okay, so what we will do to make it more secure and to delegate some of the rights of this IT, okay, or the main IT, we will delegate control for the IT group in every army to manage his own OU. So for example, if one of the Russian army, or if the Russian army needs to create a user, okay, for example in his army, for example to create an Active Directory user to be added to the Russian army, he needs to go to the main IT and tell him to create this user and put it in the army camp or in the user's OU for the Russian army. So for example, if I am a new user and I need to have an Active Directory account, I need to go to the main IT and ask him to create an account. So to make it more easy and to make it more secure, I will delegate the creation of users, groups and computers to every IT group in every army. So we'll do this as a delegation. Okay, this is the first thing. And then for the IT group, the IT personnel in every army to connect to my domain controller and create users or groups or computers, you need to do this from the PAW workstation that he have, and every workstation will be for every personnel in the army. For example, we have in every army we have 3 IT. So we have 3 IT in the Russian army. We have 3 IT sorry, in the ally army we have 3 IT in the Japanese army. Every one of these IT will have his own workstation that will be securely or completely secure, that he can use to connect to the domain controller and do his IT stuff, from creating users or groups or computers. And by the way, this workstation also, he will be the only one that he can access it, okay, and he will be the only one to access it and to use it. So for example, I said before, we have here 3 personnel, everyone will have his own workstation, okay. So for example, user 1 cannot use the workstation of user 2, so every user will have his own PC and he will be only allowed to use it, and they will only, or will control that every user should only use his workstation, not his colleague workstation. So we will do this also as a part of the security. So this is all some measurements that we can take to secure our Active Directory. And one of the things that we need also to stress on it, for example, if you are one of the main IT group, and by the way, I have said that in the beginning of the lab, I have put my main IT group, I have put it to be a member of the domain admin groups and the enterprise admin group and the schema admin group. So by putting my group in these 3 groups, I have full control over the domain. So for example, user Karim now have full control over the domain because he is a member of this group, which is, as I said before, a member of the domain admin, enterprise admin, schema admin. I will use Karim account or the Active Directory user account to do things or to do some configuration on the Active Directory, and in the same time I will use it to connect to workstations in any of the 3 armies, so I can do, or I can troubleshoot problems that face them, okay. So this is one mistake. You need to have, or you need to have an account that manage the Active Directory and to have a separate account to manage the workstations in your domain. So we'll have 2 accounts. If we need to do something in the Active Directory, we will use one account that have full control over the Active Directory, and then we have a separate account that all of its objective or its function is to work and troubleshoot things on the workstations in our domain, and this account will be a local administrator on the machines in the domain, so he will not have Active Directory rights. So this separate account will not be able to manage the Active Directory. So we will separate managing the Active Directory from managing the workstations by creating 2 accounts. This will be for the main IT group, and this will be done also for every army or for every IT group. So here, for example, we will have an account in the Russian army that manage the Active Directory, and we'll have another account that will manage the workstations in the Russian OU, and the same will be done for the Ally army, and the same that will be done for the Japanese army. So the first, or let's say the third step to secure your environment is to have 2 separate accounts, one to manage your Active Directory and the other one is to manage your workstations, okay. And the other one that will manage, or the account that will manage your workstations, doesn't have Active Directory rights, so this account will not be able to create, for example, groups in the Active Directory or users in the Active Directory. So every account have separate duties or separate rights to do, okay. So this also one of the things to secure your environment. So here we will have, this is the group that will manage this. This is called ITUSSR admin workstation. This group can manage all of the workstations in the Russian army, okay. So this is air base, armor facility, seaport, defenses. This IT group can manage these workstations locally. So for example, if you need to install a program on one of these workstations, we will use this group. If you need to add a driver, we will use this group. So this is the first thing, okay. And then we have another group called ITUSSR. This is a group that we use to manage the Active Directory for the Russian army. So for example, if you need to create in the USSR organization unit, you need to create a group, or you need to create a computer, you need to create a user, okay. This will be your, or you should be a member of this group. So this group and its members can manage the organizational unit of the USSR army, okay? Manage it completely. You can delete the OU, you can create users, you can create groups, and so on. So we have two separate groups with two separate members. Every member of this group will do a different thing. So the members of this group will manage the workstations locally, okay? And this group will have local admin rights on the machines. So for example, if you need to install a software, or you need to remove a driver or one of your workstations, here you should be a local administrator. So this group will be a local administrator on all of the machines, okay? This is one. And if you need to manage your Active Directory, or you to manage your organizational unit, we need to be a member of this group, okay? And we'll do this for the Ally Army, we'll do the same, do this for the Japanese Army. So now we have separate the managing of the Active Directory from managing the workstation. These are two separate accounts, okay? And here we have the domain admin and the IT global and the IT global admin. Just a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Here, as we see before, or have you said that we will separate the managing of the Active Directory from managing the workstations, or managing the workstation, I mean solving problems or accessing the workstations and solve problems like adding a software, removing a software, adding a driver, removing a driver. So we will do this for the three armies, and then we will do this for also the global IT. We have the domain admin group, and then we have the IT global group. This will be a group, will be a member of the domain admin, and I am a member of this group. So members of this group will manage the Active Directory. As for the IT global admin workstations, these are users that can manage the workstations in this main OUs, okay? So we will have, for every IT personnel, we have two groups, one to manage the Active Directory and one to manage the workstations, okay? So we have this, and in the upcoming videos also we will have, or we will secure our Active Directory by separating it to zones. So the main OUs, we will call this tier 0. Tier 0, this contains all of our important servers, like the domain controllers, especially domain controllers, and this will be called tier 0, okay? And then we will have this called tier 1, and then we'll have this called tier 2, and this will be called tier 3, okay? And we will work, or we are working with this kind of structure according to a PDF recommended by Microsoft, or a model recommended by Microsoft called admin tier modeling. And simply it will divide the Active Directory to zones, and every zone will be separate from the other zone, okay? And no one from each zone can access the others, okay? So for example, the IT group here will not be able to access workstations in tier 2, okay? And for example, the IT in tier 3 cannot access workstations in tier 2 or tier 1. And by the way, tier 0, I am as a global or a domain admin, I cannot access workstations in tier 1 or 2 or 3. This is, we will discuss further in details, will help us to mitigate the theft of the account. So for example, if one of the hackers got the IT account for the Russian army, he will only be able to access workstations in tier 1, okay? He will not be able to access workstations in tier 2, okay? So this is a good thing to do, and we will discuss it later in details. So this is basically what we will do in this video. We will begin working with making groups for and administrators to access the workstations locally, or we separate the accounts. We will have two accounts for every IT, one to manage the Active Directory and one to manage the workstations, and this we will work according to this PDF. And one of the things, let me show you all here, it is saying that, just a moment guys. So let's continue guys. Now we will begin, as I said before, to secure our domain. We will split managing the Active Directory from managing the workstations. We will begin creating more privileged access workstations for every IT in every army, and In the upcoming videos we will begin working more on securing our privileged access workstation. So let's begin. Now we will open the VM Workstation Pro. So now we will open the primary domain controller. First of all, I need to add more RAM to my PAB or privileged access workstation, and I will not open the additional domain controller, so I open only the virtual machine for the primary domain controller, and the PAB or the workstation or the privileged access workstation will be on. These two will be on, but this will be off and this will be off. So we will pause the video until the primary domain controller is up, and then we will power the second virtual machine. Now we will pause the video. Then we'll log in with my domain admin account. Okay, red alert / care off. We'll add the password. Then pause the video. Then we will open the custom console and open our Active Directory and begin creating additional organizational units and additional groups. As I said before, we will create 3 new organizational units in every army, and we will create 2 groups, okay, for every army, one for managing the managing the Active Directory, and one for managing the local workstations or the workstations. So I think we are opening here we'll get some scripts. So we will have a couple of scripts. This is the background. I think we can pass this real quickly, that this doesn't matter anyway. So we will go and we will complete something here. Just a moment, guys. So we're here. We will go and just a moment. So here, just a moment. Okay, I think here this is the Ally GPO. Okay, now, okay, here we will begin. Just a moment. Also, I need to pass this real quickly also. So what we will do here, we will begin creating a new group. So here we will create something called IT admin or UNIT global workstations. This is a group that we will put users in it that can manage the workstations locally. Okay, so we'll do this. I will put the description. So we'll take a description from another group and put it here. Okay, and then global workstations. Okay, administrator. And then apply and OK. And then we need to do this for every army. So we will have a group for every army, IT group, and then we will add another group called IT Ally administrators. So we'll make a new group and put Ally IT WA or workstation administrators. This will be the group that will be responsible for managing the workstations, and we'll do this for the Japanese army. Okay, we will create a new group. Okay, I will put it WA, abbreviation for workstation administrator. and then we'll do this for the Russian army. We'll do we make another group. We rename, or we take the name and then create a new group. And then WA Workstation Administrators, and then for every IT. And now after creating the group, we will create for every IT. So this is the IT, the 3 IT members of the Russian army. These accounts, or the 3 Active Directory users, will manage the USSR organizational unit and all of its sub-organizational units. Okay, so these 3 accounts will be used to manage the USSR Active Directory organizational unit, and we will create 3 additional users. Every one of these users will manage the workstations in the organizational unit of the Russian army. So we will create 3 new accounts for the 3 IT. So every IT will have 1 account to manage the Active Directory or the organizational unit, and the other one to manage the workstations. So we'll do this for the 3 armies. Okay, so here we'll do this. This is the description. We put it here: administrator or workstation administration, administrator administrators. Then we will create a user for every IT. So every IT will have 2 accounts, one to manage the Active Directory and one to manage the workstations. Okay, so this is the IT group. So this is for the Japanese army. We will add a new description. Okay, apply and okay. And then we'll go to the Ally army. We will create for every user, or for every IT user, we will have an account for him to access the workstation. So now we will have an account called IT admin or IT workstation admin. Wait a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Now we'll begin creating for every IT. We will create another account so he can access the workstation with it. So we will have 2 accounts, one to manage the Active Directory and one to manage the workstations. Okay, so IT workstation admin 1. WA is this an abbreviation of workstation administrator. Next, and then we will uncheck user must change password. Okay, and then next, finish, and then we will create this account. Will be for we will not copy, okay, actually we will not copy this user. Here I am telling him to copy the account, so I make another new account with the same name or the same setting, but still I think this is not correct. Anyway, so Gerald colon will have this account, IT workstation admin 1, as his local administrator account, or his account that will access the workstations. Now we have IT workstation admin 1 and then IT workstation admin 2, so we will create this for every group or for every army. So here we create IT1, IT admin 1, Okay, so we have two accounts for two IC. Then we'll create a third account. Okay, admin 3. Okay, this is the third account, and then we will uncheck user must change password and put a password. Next, finish, and then Gerald colon, he will be the one. So see this description, we will take it, and IT workstation admin 1, this Gerald will use. So this is Gerald information technology ally workstation administrator. So this is the account that he will manage with it the workstation. So Gerald will have his Gerald colon account, this will manage the Active Directory, and IT workstation admin, this will be Gerald's second account to manage the workstations. Okay, so we'll do this, and then we will have Kelvin McDonald, he will be will have a second account named IT workstation admin 2. This will be his workstation admin account, okay, or workstations admin account. So we will do this, copy, and then we will do this here and paste ally workstation administrator, apply and OK, and then we have Philip Cortez. So this is the last one, just a moment, not this one, I think I have another one. No, we have Philip Cortez, this is the third IT workstation admin 3 will be his second account. Okay, so now we will have Philip Cortez as his second account, this will be workstation admin, apply and OK, and then we need to put these three accounts in the ally IT workstations administrators group. So we need to put the three accounts in this group. We will repeat the process for the Empire of the Sun. So we will do this, we will create another group. Okay, so we will do this, we will create a group, and then we will take the description. So this will be the ally workstation administrators group. Okay, so we will put the three accounts in this group. Okay, so in every army we will have a group called IT workstations admin. Okay, so we'll do this, we'll do this for the Japanese army, and we'll do this for the Russian army. It's paused. Okay, members, we will go and add the three. Okay, IT admin 1 and admin 2, so we'll add the three, just a moment, ITWA, so IT WA. Okay, we'll add the three, the three ones, these are the workstations admins, we will add them to the group. Okay, OK, and apply and OK. So we have the three in the three in the UN Ally workstation administrators group, and then this group should be in the administrators or in the local administrators groups on all of the Ally workstations. So by doing this, this group can manage the workstations locally. So how you can manage the workstations locally, or to manage the workstations in the domain, this group will be in the local administrators group in every Ally workstation. The same applies why you as a domain admin can manage any workstation in the domain locally as an administrator, because the domain admin account or the domain admin group is a part or is a member of the local administrators group in all of the machines in the domain. Okay, so let's continue here. Now we'll go to the IT. We have the same group here. We need to create 3 accounts. This is the domain admin group or the domain admin level, admin 4, okay, or 5. Okay, next, when you put a password, we will do the same process. So we'll create accounts. We'll have administrator 6 and administrator 7. So we have 3 accounts, and then we'll put them in the group of workstations. So Elon Musk will have his account to manage the Active Directory, and IT workstation admin 6 his local or workstation admin account. So we'll do this for, we can see here that sorry, we can get for a moment here. No, we can get another back. So here we can see that we have Elon Musk, Tony Stark, and Karim Raouf. These are the 3 domain admin accounts, and then we have IT workstation admin 5, IT workstation admin 6, and the IT workstation admin 7. These are 3 accounts that these 3 users will use to manage the workstations. Okay, so we'll do this. We have done it for the Ally, this for the domain admin, then we'll do it for the Japanese and for the Russian. So we'll do this. Okay, here we can see that, just a moment here, just a moment. So we'll do this for every group. Just a moment. So here we can see that we have 3 accounts for the 3 IT, and these 3 will be a member of the IT USSR workstation administrators. We have done this. So this will be done actually. So again, so let me show you all here. So IT, we will add IT 11 and 12 or 13. These are the okay, the USSR. Then we will begin creating 2 organizational units. This is PAO, or the first privilege access workstation. We will create one as PAO 1, and then we will create another one as PAO 2. Okay, we'll create another organizational unit. So these are the 3 workstations for the 3 IT, for the IT global group. Okay, now we will have PAO 2, and now we will create this for the Ally Army, the Empire of the Sun, and the USSR, the one that I have showed you in the presentation. Okay, so now we will go to the Ally, and in the IT we will create 3 workstations or 3 organizational units that will contain 3 workstations. Every workstation will be for 1 IT. Okay, and this should be very secure, and we'll secure it using a group policy. So now we have PAO, and then we have PAO 1, and then we have PAO 2. Okay, PAO 2. So we have 3 workstations for the 3 IT in every army. Now we will go and create another organizational unit, PAO, okay, and then PAO 1, PAO 1, okay, and then we have PAO 2, PAO 2. Now we have 3 organizational units, and then we'll go to the Russian army and create another one for POW 1 or POW and POW 1, and we have POW 1 or POW 2, and you have another POW 1. Let me show you all some of what should the privilege access workstation configuration should be. So here, just a moment, I will show you all the PDF that I'm using by Hyuka, one of my friends on the LinkedIn. Here we can see that the privilege access workstation needs to be at minimum limited to a separate physical hardened workstations to perform administrative tasks on. So you can manage the Active Directory using this POW, okay? So you don't use it to access the internet, for example. Okay, only use it to access the servers or to access the Active Directory. A separate account to manage the privilege access workstation. So we will have a separate account. The one, we will create a separate account completely to access this workstation in specific. We will not use our domain admin account or our local administrator's account. We will have a separate account for this, and then we will have, or we need to manage the Active Directory from this workstation using the remote server administrator tools. We have done this before. No internet access should be available, but you can have some URLs accessed, for example like Azure if you have cloud, or you have cloud VMs. No Outlook installed, USB drivers are blocked, inbound and out network connection is blocked. Each IT admin manages his or her own POW. Okay, so we have created 3 POWs for this purpose. Okay, we can see here, this is it. You have block USB, block inbound connection, provide administrative tools, block internet browsing and email. So this is the POW. So here we will create, or we will have the POW as the configured in the PDF. Okay, and we will show you how we can make a group policy to make this. Okay, let's continue here. Now we will go and create in every organizational unit. We will create a computer, okay, which is called pre-staging. So I will make a computer object in every one of these organizational units, and I'll show you all how we can after that work with these. So now we will have POW and POW 1 and POW 2. In each one of these we'll create a computer. Okay, so for example here we will have POW, or we have a new computer, and we will name it POW 2. Okay, something like this. And the one that will be able to or the group that will be able to join this workstation to the domain will be the Ally IT group. Okay, so let's see first, or let's show you all. So here we'll make a new computer. First of all, I need to make sure the name of the PCs. So I have here POW. So this is POW 1 and this is POW 2. So here we'll create something called POW 1. POW 1. Okay. And then we tell him okay, and then we'll have POW 2. Okay. So this is a pre-staging. We are creating in advance the computers in these objects. So when they join the domain, we will go to this organization unit directly. Okay, so now we will go to the Ally, and then we will create POW 3. This is the third computer. Okay, we name it POW 3, and the group that will be able to join this PC to the domain will be the Ally IT group, UNIT. Okay, underscore Ally. This is the one, or the Ally IT. Just a moment, we can go down. Ally IT group. So this is where is the Ally IT? Not this one. We need to have allies. Okay, and then this should be, just a moment, so ally IT, this is the group that will manage the Active Directory, so they are the one responsible for joining this PC to the domain. We will do this on the rest. So the IT ally group, this is a group that will manage the Active Directory, okay, especially the ally organizational unit. Here is SPAO 4, and then tell him change, and then UN underscore ally underscore IT. So this is it. We will do this for the ally, and then we will do this for the force workstation. So every workstation, the IT in this organizational unit will able to join it to the domain. So we'll do this for the ally, okay, apply and okay, and then we will do this for the Empire of the Sun and for the Russian army. So we can pass this real quickly, okay, again. So just a moment, here the last one, just a moment, again. So this is, for example, Power Station 10 or Power Workstation 10. This will be for the Japanese army, sorry, this is for the Russian army, okay. And the next step we do, or the next step, this is the last one. So we have the computer, this is POW 11, and then we will tell it to use the Russian army IT to join it to the domain, okay, and then we need to delegate control for every IT group in every army to manage its own organizational unit, okay. So we will go to the ally, right click, okay, and tell him delegate control. So what we will do, we will hint him ally, right click, and delegate control. So what we will do, we will go and tell him add a group, which is UN ally IT. This is the group that will be responsible for managing this organizational unit, the ally organizational unit, of all of the sub organizational units under it. So what he will do, here he can create and delete accounts. This group will be able to create and delete accounts within this organizational unit, can reset password, can create and manage groups, can do everything like the domain admin is, except it is doing it for this specific organizational unit. So we will do this, okay. We will have this done for the ally, so it will do everything the domain admin does but within the organizational unit. So we will delegate control, next. So now we will do this for the Empire of the Sun. Now we will do the same, we will delegate, choose first or finish, and then we will delegate control, right click and delegate control, and then next, and then we will have the Empire of the Sun IT group, and we will delegate control to it, okay. It will do the same, so we can pass it this real quickly, and we do this for the Russian army. So again we have done this for the Russian army, this is the last one, okay. So we have done this for the 3 for the Russian army. So now we need to have a group policy. We will have a group policy to put every IT workstation group. So let's see here something. We'll put the IT workstations groups for every army, for every workstation within the army organizational unit. So here we can see users, groups, administrators, okay. This is how I can, why me as a domain admin, why I can manage this workstation as an administrator, because the domain admin groups is a member of the local administrators groups on this machine. So I am basically a domain admin. I am a local administrator on this machine and on every machine in the domain. So if you check the local administrators group on every workstation in the domain, you will see that domain admins, they are a member of this group. So this is why me as a domain admin can manage this workstation. Actually, we need to remove this group and add our IT workstation admin group instead. Okay, we'll see how this is done using a group policy. So we will do this. So now we will go to not the default domain policy. Let me pass it real quickly here. So we will go not to default domain policy. So we will go and just a moment again. So here we have the allied GPO. We go to there and then we go to security and then restricted group. What we will do here, we need to tell him to add a group, the administrators group. So by doing this, what I am doing here, I'm telling him that the administrators group, I need to put certain members in the local administrators group in every workstation within the organizational unit of the ally. Take care that by doing this, the members in the administrators group in every workstation within the ally OU, all its members will be removed. Okay, and it will only add what you list it here. Okay, so be very careful. Test this group policy before applying it widely. Test it on only one workstation. So we'll see this. We'll tell him browse, and then we will add the not administrators. This is the administrators group. So this is the one that we need to put members in it, administrators. Okay, and then we need to add members of this group. Remember, we have created the ally IT workstation administrator group. So now we will go there. We will add UN underscore ally IT workstation. So not this one, workstation WA, this one. So let me have something here. That means that the UN ally IT group, the one that we manage the Active Directories, will not be able to manage the workstation locally. So this is the only one that we be permitted to manage the workstation. Okay, so now we will do this. Okay, and we will close this one. Okay, anyway, so we'll do this for the ally, and then we will do this for the Japanese army. So now we will go to the Japanese army. Just a moment. No, not this one, not for the users, domain admin. No, we can pass this real quickly. So it is allied GPO, so we can pass this. We will go to the second one, which will be not the ally. We'll go to the Empire of the Sun, and then we tell him edit, and then add. Okay, security, and then restrictive groups. Here right click and add group, and then we tell him administrators group, and then okay, then we will add UN EOTS ITWA. So now we will do this. Okay, apply, and okay. We'll do this for the Russian army as well, so we can pass this also to the Russian army. We'll go to the Russian army group policy. Okay, GPO, then do the same, and then we will test this tank 10. It is this workstation in the ally organizational unit. So we will see we'll test the setting and see what this group policy for the ally will be reflected to this one. So we will go to the restrictive group. Okay, here right click and add group, and then we will add administrators. And check name. Okay, then we will add the Russian IT admin workstation group. Okay, ITWA workstations. Okay, and then we will test. We will see this is an ally workstation. We will see the local administrators members, or the local administrator members, or local administrator group members. So now we need to I think we will close this machine and restart this one. Here we need to go and see the ally. This is the, not this one, this is the tank, I think. Just a moment. I think the Russian army, maybe. We go to the tank, I think. This is the one. This is tank 10. This is in, as we see here, it is in the ally organizational unit. So this is a workstation in the ally army. We will see the local administrators group members. We will see that. So we will close this workstation. This is the ally group. I think we need to power off this machine. This is the IT group. Then we need to take one of these accounts. So we will take one admin account, workstation admin. This is the one that will be able to manage the workstation locally. Okay, so we need to have this account because we will test it and see. So now we will close this machine completely, and we will power on this machine. We will shut down. Just power off. Then we'll power on this machine. Okay, we'll power it on. And then we need to access this workstation with the IT admin 1 account and see if you can manage the account as an administrator, or manage the workstation as an administrator. So we'll pass it real quickly. Here you can see that the Active Directory login script was not applied, so you need to go back to the POW and attach to the IT admin Active Directory user the Active Directory login script. So this should be done. I need to return back. So what we will do here, we can see that when we open the manage console for this workstation, if you go to the local users and groups and administrator, here we should see that domain admins, this is not correct. We need to update the group policy and then see that this account should not be there. We need to see the UN Ally IT workstation admins to be here. Okay, so this is not correct. So we need to attach the Active Directory login script and then return back and apply the group policy. First of all, we need to let him run and gp update /force to update our group policy. and then we will go again and check the local administrators members. It will take a little bit of time. Okay, now we can do this. Now he's telling us that updating the network policy, you should restart the machine, so we will restart. Okay, then we will go back again and log in with the IT admin account, and then put the password and then log in, and then we will go and tell him manage. Okay, and see the local administrators group membership. Okay, here we go to the local administrators group. Here administrators, here we can see that only members are care of the local administrator of this machine and the group of the Ally ITWA, the one that we have specified in the group policy. And by the way, the domain admins are removed, so the domain admin doesn't have any local administrator rights on this machine. Okay, this is the only by the way, UN Ally IT doesn't have any rights on this machine. Only this group will have access to this machine. Take care that all of the members are removed. Okay, so care of one was removed, only these two are there. So remember that the group policy will remove every members and put only the one that you put in the group policy. So take care of this. Okay, so we'll do this, and then we need to go and attach to the IT admins the Active Directory login script. So we will close this machine, and then we will go and open the POW with the domain admin account, and then we will go and open every IT admin of these and put the Active Directory login script to it. So now we will go and tell him properties, IT group, then this is the workstations, so not this one, not Gerald, we will take this. So every IT or workstation admin should have his Active Directory login script. So this is the one, we tell him properties. Okay, and then we will add to the profile tab, and then login script. So this is the Ally, so the script, this is the Active Directory login script that should be applied. This is for the Ally, and then we will do this for the Empire of the Sun and for the USSR Army. So now we will do this, we will go to the Empire of the Sun, and then we will go to these three newly created IT workstation admins. So we will copy this script and we will put it for these three workstation admins. We will take Helen profile and then login script, and then we will add it, and we'll do this for the Russian army as well. We'll do this for the Russian army. We will do the same, and for the global IT group we'll do this also the same. And then we will open again the workstation, we will close it and then open this back and open it, and then we will try to access this machine by my domain admin account, and let's see if I have rights to manage this workstation locally. I will not be able to do this. Let me show you all what I mean by this. So I will use my domain admin account to access this machine. I am treated as a normal user, not as an administrator. So we can pass this real quickly. Now if you right click and manage, let me show you all here. Here when I open the groups, here remember that I don't have any admin rights. Remember the domain admins was here and I was a member of the domain admin. Karim Raouf was a member of the domain admins and it was removed here. I will show you all a little bit of the message that will appear if I try to open the device manager, for example, here, and try to open anything. Here there is an error saying that you are logged in as a standard user. So I am as a domain admin, I am a not administrator on this machine, I am a standard user. Okay, so let's see when I log in with IT Workstation Admin 1, I will see this error or not. So we will tell him OK, and then we will close it, and then we will log in with the ITW admin account. So here IT Workstation admin account, and then we will begin working with the, or let's see if I try to access the device manager. So let's open the device manager. Here we will tell him open again, just a moment. So here if I open it, we will shut down the machine. Then I will take a backup. So here I will take a snapshot, okay, before POW or deny GPO. So I will take GPO tier admin and POW GPO. I'll take a snapshot from this one before doing this. In the upcoming video we'll begin creating or increasing the security of our POW workstations. So hope this video is informative for you all, and would like to thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.